wrestling. Hell, bougie ass John.
Oh, this is Tim. This is your Giant Straight Talk, powered by Online Big Blue LLC. Had someone the other day said to me, "You just think you're better than me." I'm like, no, I don't think I'm better than you. I just think I'm bougie. Oh, you gotta love the world of YouTube and Twitter and all that fun stuff. So Joe Schoen was at the Combine today, or yesterday, I should say, because we didn't do the video yesterday because I was too tired. And plus, it was a really nice day. So I was outside hanging out, having a good time. But, of course, he spoke about Daniel Jones. He did a call-in and had fans ask questions. And it didn't last very long, which I thought was great. But, you know, you had the typical Giant questions. You had the typical Joe Schoen questions. And I just love it. And I think to myself, you know, there's just so many ways that he can go with this. There's just so many things that he could do. But he's got the complete GM speak. But I want to play the one call though, because I think it's fucking awesome.
I'm sorry. One follow up on that before we move off the quarterback spot. When you watch the playoffs this year, Joe, you saw the last 8 teams, the high level of play, right? Like these guys are superheroes. Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes, even just go around the league. How important is it to continue to in the league now to have that elite level of quarterback play to compete for a Super Bowl? Is it even possible to do it without having that elite play now?
Yeah, there's only so many of those guys walking this earth.
Well, of course, it's very hard,
unfortunately. But, I mean, we have a guy on our roster that played at that level at Minnesota last year.
Absolutely.
Wait, was it Tommy DeVito? Because I forget.
Playoff game. That's still young. So,
for sure.
Again, it's in there. And, again, I think it's everybody's hyper-focused on the quarterback position, which I understand. But you also have to build a team. Like, look at Brock Purdy, Mr. Irrelevant. And you can't tell me there's a team. I mean, put his talent that's around him, Hall of Fame left tackle, the receivers they have, the running back they have.
And let's just, so basically what we're going to do is we're going to disparage Brock Purdy by saying it's everyone around him and not Brock Purdy. Oh, this is the Joe Schoen I was starting to get worried about. This is the Joe Schoen that when we talked about his very first press conference, his media savvy. I didn't think his media savvy was there, and I haven't seen it grow. This is the Joe Schoen that seems like he's being backed into a corner a little bit.
A coach, there's been continuity that's been there year over year.
Those teams.
Wait, so there's a coach continuity, but we have a head coach going into year 3. Okay, Joe.
In different ways, right?
They all did it in different ways. And they tried to go up and get a quarterback. Yeah, they did.
Yeah.
And now he's with Dallas. But again, so
they try. So we're not going to go out and get a quarterback because they went and got Trey Lance, and they got rid of the Garofalo because of Lance. But Joe, you're missing the point. They got rid of the Garofalo, they got rid of Trey Lance, and they brought in Brock Purdy. So in that 5-year span, they've had 3 quarterbacks and gone to a Super Bowl, AFC Championship game. You stand still and sit on your hands, and you allow Daniel Jones to come back for year 6.
There's different ways to build the team. You look across the league, you're always looking at different plans and how teams did it, and what's the best way to do it, and we're going to do it our way, and we got a plan in place, and we'll see how it plays out.
Well,
and I love it. The plan in place has always been to build through the draft, augment through free agency. This is what he told us when he came in. So what did he do? He gave $160 million to Daniel Jones. He brought in a 30-year-old tight end with an injury issue. He brought in Paris Campbell. He spent the money on Bobby Okereke, which was one of his big hits. He went out and drafted a wide receiver. He went out and drafted a center. He went out and drafted a couple more offensive linemen. So all this was to build around the continuity of Daniel Jones. I'm getting to the point now where I'm getting slightly concerned about Joe. I am. I'm getting to that point, but I want to play the clip. Hold on. Let's go play the clip I wanted to play first.
Pleasure to talk to you. This might be a little friendly fire.
This is Charlie, of course.
I know every time someone talks about Daniel Jones, they talk about the Minnesota game,
which was great because he just brought up the Minnesota game.
But I can bring up 20 other games when he wasn't very good at all, like I
would say, like Dallas. I was there in the rain.
Game when it was 40-0. The Philadelphia divisional game when he was god awful.
And I think that divisional game was right after some game. I can't remember which game it was. Oh my God. I was off to the Minnesota game, which was one of the worst defenses I've seen in 30 years to make the playoffs.
What do you see in this guy? I don't get it. Especially he's got 2 neck injuries, ACL, had concussions. How can you move on with this guy?
Thank you, Charlie.
Thanks for the call, Charlie.
No, I appreciate the question. What I see is I see a young man that has all the physical tools and athleticism to play the.
He's going into year 6, Joe. Year 6.
Back in the NFL. I think there's some circumstances that were out of his control, and some of that's on me in terms of bringing talent in.
Well, it also could be the fact that, circumstances out of control is, he doesn't have the God-given talent. But, let's give him a year 10.
The offensive line or depth when injuries occur where he can have some success. And
name me a wide receiver over in Kansas City.
Listen, Daniels played well in some important games. And again, we have.
He played well in one game, and it was against one of the worst defenses I've seen make the playoffs in 30 years.
Daniel, and again, when he gets back healthy, the expectation is he'll be the starter, and we're going to continue to try to surround him with the best supporting cast that we can so he can have success.
All right, we're going to squeeze in all.
We're gonna call it end now. we're gonna end this now, and I love this conversation because this is about his faith in Daniel Jones.
Actually started throwing. Yeah, Jordan, he actually started throwing. He's been throwing for about 2 weeks stationary now. He's not dropping back or doing any of that stuff. So he is on track. He's doing everything he can.
Maybe he throws better stationary.
We're optimistic about where he is, and there's some talk in the spring that he may be able to go through, whether it's 7-on-7 or individual, throwing routes on air, that he'll be able to do some of that stuff.
Because he throws the best ball on air that we've ever seen. We just don't have the people around him.
We won't expose him to team activities, but every patient responds differently to surgery. So, knock on wood, we haven't had any setbacks. He hasn't had any setbacks. And if he continues on that pace,
And injury shouldn't be concerned because he's had 2 major injuries in 3 years now.
Be ready for the start of training camp.
Aren't we lucky that he's going to be ready for the start of training camp? I think that's awesome. I think that's awesome. I also want to get into this clip about the where's this clip about the 67.9% chance. I love this clip. I got to play this clip too. Hold on.
What is the percent chance you foresee the Giants taking a quarterback in round 1 if somebody is there?
76.9%. No, we talked earlier.
That's pretty high.
That's pretty high.
Well, you said be specific.
76.9. I would have been 83.6.
We talked earlier about the teams that are willing to come up, and I did mention you got a teams at 6. Yeah, 6. I know the Giants are at 6. They are a team that is trying, or at least taking the temperature, as Ryan Poles said, to see what the price is going to be to move up to 3, up to 2, up to 1. Now look, he could still, Daniel Jones, be your starting quarterback week 1. They do expect.
He's going to be the starting quarterback week 1 no matter what. He's got a $68 million dead cap number that says so.
I've told you that that's been the goal. He has been throwing. He was throwing in a chair on the field, so he didn't have to stand. Now he is standing and throwing over the last couple of weeks. And Joe Schoen, the Giants GM, said that there is the thought that he may be able to do some stuff in the spring. No team drills, but like 7-on-7. So Daniel Jones is on pace to be the starter week 1, potentially. Could he be holding the seat for a little bit of time for somebody else that was just drafted? Yeah, 76.9% chance that could happen. How's that?
I love the 76.9% chance that happens. Now, we all have to know that this is all coach speak. And this is all, I should rephrase, this is all GM speak. We don't know what Joe Schoen's going to do. The only person that knows, of course, is
Draft, baby. Yeah.
The venerable Dominic Palmer. He's the only person that knows. But it's just coach speak. We don't know how true he is in the Daniel Jones corner, because I wouldn't think that he would sit there and just take away any option in the draft. If there was an ability to get a quarterback he felt was better than Daniel Jones, you would hope that he would go out there and get her. If he feels that Daniel Jones is his best guy, I mean, hell, he had a presser a couple of weeks back where he basically said he got away from his own plan. And you had to assume that meant he got away from his own plan in reference to giving Daniel Jones that huge contract. It's not that I'm not having faith in Schoen. My faith in Schoen is waning. Only because of the fact that
I find your lack of faith disturbing.
Well, Darth, I just said I wasn't having a lack of faith. But he's just not doing things that so far have been beneficial to the team. Some of the stuff that he's done is just, it's not that it doesn't make sense, but it kind of doesn't make sense. Like bringing in a 30-year-old tight end, like tagging your running back instead of trying to work out some kind of long-term deal that would have given you more flexibility in your cap space. Your cap space management, your drafting outside of Deontay Banks and maybe McFadden. But the jury's still out on McFadden. I remember when everyone was in love with Tay Crowder, and I kept pointing out to everyone, well, take a look at the fact that he's got almost twice as many assists as he actually does have tackles. And that point of contention was the fact that most of the time, if you have a linebacker, you want to see them have a lot more tackles than assists because assists are just pile-on stats, and that's what Tay Crowder did. But everyone's talking about the big hit on Derrick Henry. Yeah, okay, great. Everyone wants to talk about our old buddy Dane Belton and the 3 turnovers, but we don't talk about the 4 consecutive touchdowns that he gave up. We don't want to talk about those things. But I'm just getting to the point with Schoen now where I hope this, I'm going to say it this way. I'm going to say it better. It's not
my professional opinion that now is the time to panic.
It's not time to panic. It's not. But it's now time going into year 3 to start questioning things. I've been questioning things all around. That's why I love the bougie comment. And it cracks me up because that was from the show The PJs in the early 90s with Eddie Murphy. Great show. Great. It was a claymation show. If you don't know it, you got to go watch it. That is I remember being on like Thursday night at like 9:30 or 10 o'clock and watching it, then going out for the night with friends. So I mean, it's just one of those things. But you got to start worrying about Joe a little bit. You got to start worrying about Brian. You got to start worrying about Joe. You got to worry about this direction because Lord knows you can't go into year 7 with Daniel Jones. Most people are getting rid of their quarterbacks year 2, year 3. No. We doubled down on that. And it's just not working. And when something's not working and you sometimes if you have, I'm going to put it in an analogy because I was working on a friend's car the other day. And here's the analogy I had, or I was thinking of. You could have a beautiful car, but if the engine sucks, it doesn't matter what type of tires. It doesn't matter if you have Continental tires on. It doesn't matter, if you have the real Corinthian leather, like Ricardo Montalban used to say. It doesn't matter if you have the leather seats. It doesn't matter if you have the air conditioner. If the engine sucks, if there's no engine, it doesn't matter. And the quarterback's the engine, and our engine sucks. I was laughing because I was helping him with his car, and I had a piece left over. And I had it in my hand, and he goes to me, "What is that?" I said, "It's probably not that important." He goes, "Well, where did it come out of?" I said, "It came out of the car." He goes, well, what do you mean? What do you mean it's not that important? If there's an extra piece, don't you think? I said, sometimes the factory puts in extra pieces. And I was dying laughing because it wasn't from the car. I had this cylinder, this little round cylinder in my pocket. I just pulled it out and said, "Oh, yeah, I think this goes somewhere around here. Just throw it on top of the distributor. Everything's fine." But at the end of the day, like I said, it's time to question Joe. It's time, we have to, in all fairness, we have to wait to see what he does. We have to see what his plan is. If his plan is caca, we got to look at a different direction, and we got to start questioning more and more every day because the smartest fan always questions things he just doesn't follow blindly. We're going to have a big live stream today on Wednesday, so make sure you stay tuned from that. And as always, don't forget to like. Don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to ring that bell because you want to know why. That'd be awesome.